changes. We are at your finger. To join, request you to send the QR code at the bottom left screen. Please fill in the form and we will get in touch with you. We are happy to provide next few months. Also, if an experienced industry veteran going to help and there's some issue.
Kunal, I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, Divyansh, you can take.
Yeah, you want me to take this up?
There's some network issue. Yeah.
Sure, Kunal. I'll take this up. Thank you. Hi, everyone. So, from where Kunal left, the mastermind concept can help founders accomplish more in 1 year than they could accomplish without Founders Genie in a lifetime. And if you depend entirely on your own effort for your success, while we have read about it, we have had the good fortune of experience it through our platform. Founders Genie is built on 3 pillars of high quality, quick solution, and cost effectiveness. Its primary objective is to find solutions to any given real life problem. You can hire pre-referred talent, look for mentors, explore synergies, find industry specialists, expert, and yet be free of spam messages. We are happy to announce that Founders Genie provides you access to solutions at your fingertip to join Founders, please fill in the form and we will get in touch with you. We are happy to provide you free membership till September 2021. Also, if you are an experienced industry veteran who is looking to help and guide startups, we will be putting up link to register as a mentor. Just to complete the registration as a mentor, and we will get back to you if you are a fit. Now I would require Jay to take us through a small app demo of Founders Genie.
Sure. Thanks, Divyansh. Just to check, am I audible enough?
Yes, Jay.
Okay. You let me know once you see my screen.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So as founders, on daily basis, you may be facing a lot of questions. Those questions could be regarding legal help, regarding finance help, regarding hiring. At Founders Genie, we try to solve all that within one platform. The feature that that I'm going to demo today is about the events. So once you log on to the Founders Genie app, on top right corner there is this icon of calendar. When you click on that, it will show you all the upcoming events like the ones that we are having right now, and you can keep your calendar updated right from here. For you to register for the meeting, just click onto the detail page. There is a register icon right there below, and you can see the details of the event by clicking onto the event. So that's the one feature I wanted to demo today. Over to you, Divyansh.
Thank you, Jay. Welcoming today, CEO and co-founder of Convanto, Vandana Tulani. A brief about Vandana is a versatile and dynamic professional with over 20 years of experience in investment banking and venture capital arena. And she founded Convanto, which is a boutique investment banking firm focused on fundraising and consulting early stage startups. Before funding Convanto, she had a family office fund in Singapore and Jakarta. Vandana have a diversified set of experience and has enabled to develop an eagle's eye for spotting opportunities in industries that are set for long-term growth in Indian economic context. She is also passionate about helping businesses reach the right people and fulfill their business requirement. Vandana is highly organized and detail-oriented professional with a large network of VC funds, angel investors, and family offices. And her vision of driving a two-way value innovation exercise has helped her create trust with most of Indian mock investors. She worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors in Jakarta, Indonesia, helping startups in fintech, B2B tech, all the way to consumer startups raise funds and providing them with a range of services such as fundraising, marketing, and growth advisory. And currently, she is an advisor to Loyal VC and connected with 200 investors globally. Vandana is also part of Founders Genie as a mentor. So, in case any founder wants to connect with her, they can reach out to Founders Genie team. Today, she'll be taking us through the topic of art and science of pitch deck making. Uh, Welcome, Vandana. Over to you.
Thank you, Divyansh. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful introduction. First of all, very good afternoon from India to all of you out here. I want to thank you for taking out your precious time to attend this masterclass. So I would just start with, why is pitch deck so important? When we start looking for investments, what happens is, though we have been founders for several years and worked as CEOs, sometimes we forget the nitty-gritty issues which happen in our company when we start looking for investments. The first and foremost basic step to raise investments is to have a proper pitch deck. Uh, we feel that it is not important to invest in a proper pitch deck. Let me tell you, it is one of the most important documents that help you get a lot of investments. And if it is done in a very structured and organized manner, it saves the investor's time also. An investor would not like to spend more than 90 seconds on a deck. It is also useful if you have a video pitch deck which is trending in the market, which saves a lot of time of the investor and yourself and explains your idea in one short video. So, I have created this small PPT, which I'm going to present now, which has small, simple ways as to how you can present your pitch deck in the right manner to the investors. Should I start sharing my screen, Divyansh?
Yes, Vandana, you can.
Okay. Is it visible?
Not yet.
Okay. A second now.
Yes, it's visible now.
Yeah. Okay. So the name of this PPT is Convanto's Guide to Pitch Decks. Since I've been in this industry for 20 years, I made this PPT for all the startups and founders to understand that what are the steps to make a nice pitch deck, which will help you get investments easily. And it is also a stepwise simplified guide, which will help you understand that why is it important to have a pitch deck in order. So I wouldn't go through this slide because my introduction has already been given. Let's start with the first slide. Now, let's start with the first slide. So what is, yeah. So, what is the importance to have a pitch deck and what should the slides contain of? Let's see the first point. the company's purpose, your mission and vision. This slide needs to be short and punchy. Now, whenever we start presenting, what has happened is post-COVID, we have a lot of online presentations. In these online presentations, we forget to introduce ourselves to the audience. We also forget to present our pitch deck in the right fashion. So the first and foremost slide is to show your company's purpose. It could be a small, punchy tagline. It could show your mission and vision in the slide, and it should just convey the message to the audience. Then the second is your team. You need to really introduce your team and key personnel and their track records. It is always important because investors look at the background of the team. They do look at if the team is complementing each other, if the team has several years of experience. So it is very important to introduce your team in the right manner and presenting their key personnel and their track records. Then the third comes, what problems are you trying to solve? Each startup or each company has come up with a problem that they are trying to solve, which is helping the community. For instance, you must have seen a lot of cloud kitchen platforms. We have recently seen a cloud kitchen platform that is helping women to get work from home. So all the women who are tied up at home and are experts in cooking, they can sell their food to this cloud platform where they can make earnings, and this cloud platform is also making earnings by helping these women give employment to them and also by selling their product. So I think these kind of ideas one should look into where you are helping the community. So it's very important to highlight what problem you are trying to solve from your startup, whether it is a technology, a medical technology that will help old people, whether it is an app, that can help old people by pressing a button, and getting assistance. So you need to really highlight that because investors do look at that. Then fourth comes how your product or business solves the problem. If your business is not solving any problem for the community, you need to explain that in the slide, because everybody needs to understand what is the solution that you are giving. How is it solving the problems? What were the problems? Say, for instance, old people, they are alone at home. They have some illness and they need some emergency help. For instance, you have developed an app that with the press of a button, they get some emergency help. So that's the problem that you're solving. So it's very important for you to give solutions to the problems. Opportunity. When the iron is hot and investors should strike now. So opportunity. Look at COVID. During COVID, a lot of edutech companies came in. So that was the opportunities that investors were looking to invest in. That was the time when a lot of edutech companies should have reached to the investors to get investments. Currently, the hot sectors are fintech, edutech, food tech, agri-tech, health tech, and deep tech. AI also is coming up, and robotics and blockchains. But these are some of the hot sectors one should look into. Then sixth comes target market and distribution. If you don't know what is your target audience, if you don't know what is your target consumers, if you don't know where are you distributing your product, you have to take your bag, go down, sit with your customers, do a survey, a proper survey, and you need to define that all this in your slide. If you are unable to do that, then naturally the investor is not understanding who are your target consumers. What is your total addressable market? So what is your total addressable market? You need to calculate that by doing a market research on your product. There are a lot of professionals, that help you calculate this. If you have a good CFO in your company, if you have a good advisor in your company, they will be able to help you calculate the total addressable market. So you should always have these kind of team members in your company, because they play an important role in helping you solve your financial problems and also help you get the right kind of investments, and check your deck whether you have put the figures in the right manner. Going to the next slide. So then comes your product, key features, and all important, a demo. So what happens is, many a times we forget to put a demo of the product. It is always advisable to put a video pitch or a video product, a video that explains your product in a short video, which will help the investors to understand. You can add this to your pitch deck and show hyperlinks there, which will help the investors to understand that what is the key features of your product. How is it going to help everybody, and how is going to help you make earnings? Now, coming to point number 9, business model. How you're going to make people give up their hard-earned money. So you must understand that if an investor is investing, they are putting their hard-earned money into your startup. It is not for blowing it up. It is not for your personal use. It is for them to see that they can multiply their money when they put it into your startup. Not only that, they are putting their hard-earned money because they see some value coming from your company. So you need to explain your business model, and which explains and convinces the investor that why they should put their hard-earned money into your startup. It is very important to have a good business model. You could always create one, show it to a mentor before putting it on the pitch deck. Before even presenting it to the investor, you can show to your mentors that whether you have done it in the right manner or not. Then number 10 is competition. It is very, very important to know who are your competitors, and how you're positioned in the market compared to your rivals. What happens is, many a times what I notice is that startups, they don't know who are their competitors. They have not studied the market. They just have an idea they come up with, and they want to go about the idea. So the thing is that you should know that is somebody talking here, Divyansh?
No, it's on mute now.
Okay. So we must know what is our competition. If we don't know who are our competitors, we have not studied how much they are doing, what they are doing, and how are we better than them? What is our uniqueness? If, say, for instance, we have similar products, that we need to really explain in a slide. Then number 11 is, you need to explain what is the kind of investments that you're looking at. So, investors want to understand whether you are looking for an equity investment, whether you are looking for a CCD. If you don't, write that in one of the slides, or when you're presenting yourselves, you don't mention that, then how would the investor understand? So, seed and above. So, so if your investment is for seed and above, then you have to show what all progress have you made, what is the kind of technology that is coming, who are going to be your prospective customers, how much self-fund you have put in, and why is this, what will be the usage of the funds. When you're asking for pre-seed, it's a totally 5-year plan. So you need to put that in your deck, that what is your 5-year plan? What is the pre-seed money you're going to use at? Include your strategic plans. What would be your strategic plans? What kind of tie-ups you're looking for? If you don't put all this in your slide, it gives you a backfall because investors won't understand specifically what you're looking at. Don't put too much extra information which is not necessary. Don't make it too texty. It is always good to make the PPT numeric with graphs, with simplified things that won't take much of anybody's time and helps them understand in total what you're going to do with the investors' money. Then comes the usage of the funds. How much is the fund that you're raising and what will it be spent on? So, the other day I was in a talk, which was a USA talk in Silicon Valley, where while talking, the panelist, the moderator who was asking questions, informed me that one of the startups used the money to buy a car. Now, I think that is not right, because you cannot just blow up the investors' money by buying a car or doing, using it for personal expenses. It is better that you write the entire steps. Why are you using this money? What it will be used for? Will it be used for marketing? Will it be used for technology development? Will it be used to, help you get some technology that you've been looking for, or whether you're going to use it for your operations? You have to clarify this to the investor from the beginning. So once you do that, the investor understands, okay, my money is not being burnt, it is being used in the right manner, and hence I will be able to invest in this. Now, exit strategies. I have one slide which will be coming in later, while I'll explain in detail the exit strategies. It is very important that you share, you discuss it with the investor after you get the term sheet about your exit strategies, and how you're going to give the investor an exit, because ultimately you are getting the funds from the investor, but the investor is making money through the exit that he or she takes from your company. So we would take up the questions later on. I would go to the next slide. Now, this I had, structuring your pitch deck. Okay, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. So how do you structure your pitch deck? You need to grab your audience's attention. It is not always easy, but you've got to find a way to establish attention and excitement. Now, a few months back, while we were not having, much work to do, and we were doing this online judging with startups as to, which startup is the best and which startup should receive investments, I came across certain things that the startups were, not doing in the right manner. Firstly, while they were introducing themselves to the investors, they were doing it in a very informal manner. When we go to somebody's office, we also, dress up formally and visit them and show our PPTs to them. And then talk about investments when we are on a one-to-one meeting. Similarly, whenever we are in an online meeting where we are presenting to an investor, the first and foremost things is that we should be groomed well. We should be sitting not on the beds or floor, but try to sit on a chair, because you're definitely presenting to the investor, and that will give you the investments the way you present it. You need to grab the attention of your investors. So you need to make it an interactive session so that the investor automatically starts asking questions. You should tell your stories about existing customers, the problems that you are solving, and this sets the tone for all your future points. Now, the first thing is describe the problem and solution. What is your company trying to solve? So pitching PowerPoint presentations are all about showing that you found a problem that needs help, but make sure how your startup is trying to solve that problem, how you are going to add value to the system by solving this, and what is it that you are, what is your unique proposition to the investors that they should invest in it. Explain the market. How widespread is the problem that you seek to solve? Investors need to understand your total addressable market and the potential number of customers you might seek to serve. So, research on that figure properly. Who are your potential customers? How many are there? Make a proper market research on that and then put it on your pitch deck. Make an ask. So while I was, judging these startups on the online events, I noticed that many of them had forgot to make an ask to the investors. They were in front of the investors. The investors asking, what do you want from me? You need to tell them that, we are looking for funding and you need to put in, we need to request you to put in this much amount. Or, you have to make that ask properly, whether it is asking for the fundraise, whether it is showing your, customers, whether it is for who are your teammates, whether they are complementing each other, and basically how is the, what kind of support you need from the investors. In India, we have very, very good VC investors that come with a lot of support. They come with the marketing support, they come with technology support. I have seen lots of investors opening their network for the startups they invest in also. So look for such kind of professional investors that come in with a lot of value add. And this is tips for making a winning pitch deck. This slide is about how to make a winning pitch deck. So what happens is that, people who are regular in making pitch decks, the professionals, they know that what is the market trends, what is it that the, what is it that the investor is looking for. You may want to use a good business pitch template, and when you are trying to design and outsource the design work. As founders and CEOs, we always think that we know everything. So we can do this, we can do that. But most of the time, though we all are talented in many, many aspects of life, sometimes we don't have the skills. So a pitch deck maker will have the skills to make a pitch deck for you. An investment banker will help you get investments from the investor because they have good relations with the investors. An advisor will help you advise the right steps, to take towards progressing of your company. Similarly, if you have a good CFO in your company, a CFO will be able to guide you as to how to use your finances in the right manner. So don't hesitate to invest in these kind of teammates and this kind of work, because it helps you get investments. Pitch deck can be also useful in getting you good business from across the globe. Using infographics to illustrate key processes. An infographic is a visual that helps you show off processes or key data. It breaks from traditional charts like line graphs or bar charts with more custom visuals that explain the concept. So use a lot of graphics, infographics to illustrate your key processes. So what will happen is that automatically your pitch deck will become less texty and more numeric and more attractive to the investor. In short, the investor will understand, okay, this is what he's looking for, and this is what the company is all about. Then add a SWOT slide for visual strategies. One of the most successful visuals for pitch deck is a SWOT slide. This type of analysis, includes highlighting your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So always add a SWOT slide for visual strategies. So if you notice, let me give you a very simple basic example. You have a child who's trying to learn some poetry. You will definitely go to YouTube and show some visuals for the child to grasp that poetry faster. Similarly, everybody, all humans, they understand better with visuals. So if you put good visuals on your pitch decks, even the investor understands it very well, and this helps him save a lot of time, as it is investors have less time, and look into your startup as well in an effective manner. Now, this slide is tips for presenting your pitch deck. These are some tips that I have created. If you have a good business plan or unit metrics, I have some examples later I will show you. Since investors only look at numbers, it is better to present the unit metrics and the business plan first, as only numbers are of their concern most of the time. So if you have this slide in the beginning, which explains your unit metrics, which explains the entire business plan, that includes your revenues, your exit strategies, and the type of investment you are looking for, whether it's equity, debt, or CCD. Many times what I noticed is that investors had to ask the founders, so what is it exactly that you're looking for? And the founders had forgotten to tell them that, look, I'm looking for an equity here. No, I'm looking for a CCD here. So I think make it very, very clear and specific to the investor as to what exactly you're looking for. Many times you have CCD in your mind, but the investor has equity. So that will help you clear out the air. Now, making a video, like I mentioned, these days, I have seen a lot of video pitch decks which are really attractive and which explains your startup, in short, and also, if there is a visual, the investor is able to see the face of the founder and, what kind of body language the person has. Investors do not spend more than 90 seconds in looking at the deck. I, as an investment banker also, I get almost 100 decks every day. Similarly, investors also get almost more than 100 decks every day. So they don't spend more than 90 seconds on a deck. So your deck should be so attractive that quickly the investor looks at it and makes a decision. Keeping that in mind, you should ideally make a video presentation and show that post the business plan itself. So the moment you are showing your business plan and unit metrics, immediately post that, show your video where you're presenting your product and where you're presenting your video pitch deck. Now, language. Now, what I noticed is that big companies, they cannot explain in layman's terms the technology. I had sent 2-3 founders of a company to an investor where they were discussing the term sheet, and they had to explain their technology. Because they explained it in such a complicated manner and not in a layman's terms, what happened was that because of this, the investor lost interest. So an investor won't understand all the different types of businesses, all the different types of technologies. And you need to don't use high technical terms. Just explain in simplified layman's language what is the kind of technology you are presenting. I've also seen a lot of spelling mistakes in PPTs. Kindly do check a lot of spelling errors that you might have overlooked, because it gives a really bad impression to the investors or anybody who is looking at your pitch deck. I have noticed a lot of spelling mistakes that founders make and a lot of grammatical errors. So make sure that you have thoroughly checked that. It could have happened accidentally, but make sure that you have checked it a few times before you present it. And keep it brief to the point and interesting, and make sure that your explanation is smooth enough so that the investor is able to understand, and you're not lingering too much on a slide. You're explaining it like a story. Don't stay too much more than 2 or 3 minutes on a slide, and anticipate questions beforehand. Answer them way before time to avoid confusion, and to avoid any other detailed information that you have to give. So if you make it brief and interesting, definitely everybody who's sitting in the audience would also enjoy it. Then next, I had made this slide, do's and don'ts. There are some do's and don'ts that I had developed that, what are the do's and don'ts that people forget when they are making a pitch deck. So, say for instance, even if you give your pitch deck to a professional, but if you know about that, these are the do's and don'ts, you'll at least, be careful as to how you are making your pitch deck. So the do's, keep it clear and concise. Your pitch deck should effectively communicate the ideas to the investors. Having a storyline is the key. So let's look at dairy milk or any ad that we see since childhood, where they have these taglines, and until many years, we remember those taglines as adults as well. So if you have a good catchy tagline or a storyline, it will always be registered in the investor's mind because it reflects good on you as well. Making it interesting from get-go. The first flow slides are important. They should be made in such a manner that it captures the investor's attention and towards the business, or else they will lose interest in the deck. It should be so catchy that the moment you are going to the fifth slide, already you have attracted the investor's attention. See, what is a pitch deck? Ultimately, you are putting, you're marketing your company to the investors so that they can invest in your company, and hence you need to make your pitch deck the most beautiful one and the most effective one to get investments. Now, formatting. Make sure that you are using some professional fonts, and not the which looks pleasing and neat to the eye, not something that is curvy or too fancy. Investors might not understand, because some investors are really simple, especially the angel investors. That investor, they need simplification in everything. Now, what are the don'ts? Do not forget the important slides. Investors will keep an eye out for the slide like team, your market size, and your traction. Make sure to include them in your pitch deck. So if you don't include these important slides in your pitch deck, investor will not ask you, where is this slide, please show me, where is that slide, please show me. You have to be progressive yourself, and make sure being proactive, you show these on your own. That you should already know that investors' mindset could be like this. And what I noticed is that many pitch decks are too texty. It's like instead of being numeric, it is just too texty. It has too much information. Investors are less likely to reach large amount of text altogether. So make sure that you keep bullets or numbering, and you're making it short and numeric, not texty. Make it more numeric, because it's all about investments and it's all about numbers. Do not give away all the information. So this is my 20 years of experience. it's important to create what next in the investor's mind, so that they would also feel like contacting you. And hence it is very, very important not to give all the information on the deck. Leave some for later on discussions. That way you'll also know that whether the investor has interest in your deck or no. Naturally, if the investor found it interesting, they will reach out to you for a second or a third meeting. Now, this was an example of a business model that I really like it. Look at this example. How they have done it so neatly, how they make their commissions, how they have projected, how they have put these arrows, everything is done so neatly. This kind of business model really attracts the investors. I mean, this is a really simple one which I picked up because I thought I should explain you guys in a simple manner. But if maybe you could make more better than this and have this similar kind of format is what I'm trying to say. Then look at this slide. This slide also I really like it because it explains the fund usage properly. How it has explained the total capital, time to next funding, the technology in vertical format, the marketing thing as well, the operations, team, and the miscellaneous. So I really like the way they have presented. I would request all of you also to make your fund usage slide in the similar format and always show it to somebody before you present it to the investors. Then this is an example of key metrics, that is your unit metrics. Now, if you look at this slide, how very well they have portrayed their numbers, and it's absolutely explained in an organized fashion as to what are the business metrics from July and October, and what are their revenues, etc. So this kind of a key metrics really helps the investors to understand. If you see, it is less texty, it is more numeric, it is explaining things in percentage, it has given all the numbers here. Now, this is an Indian startup. In case you are a foreign startup, please put it in US dollars. And I would request also Indian startups to always put their numbers in US dollars, because that currency is understood by all international investors also. Now, this slide I had created to explain you guys what are the different exit options. Okay, the first option which you give to exit to the investor is through an IPO, which happens approximately in 5 years. Getting the company's share listed on a stock exchange, so that with the liquidity coming through the trading of shares, the investor can sell his shares anytime, partially or fully. This is called IPO, and this is the first option that you should give to the investor. Now, say for instance, if the IPO is not possible, then the company should appoint an independent valuer of the shares and find a third-party investor who will buy the shares from the original investor. The new investor should buy shares at a price which will be required by the IRR, which is internal rate of return, to the original investor. The IRR asked is usually 20 to 25%. Apologies. So let's go to the third point. Second option is not possible. Then the company should buy back the shares from the original investor by giving him the required RRR. This option is also acceptable by the investors. But of course, when you discuss these options, you need to have a face-to-face, apologies, face-to-face meeting with the investors. Now, the third option, if the third option is not possible, then the founder should buy back the equity from the original founder by giving him the required RRR. This is another option that you could give to your investors. If all of the above doesn't happen, then the company should look for a strategic partner, one who buys a big stake in the business as a strategic investor and not as a financial investor, and hence gives exit to the original investor. So, many people and many founders don't understand what exit options to give to the investors. So I created this slide which explains that what are the different options of exit that you can give to the investors so that they can also make their earnings and you could also get your exit in an amicable manner. So that's all from me. If you have any questions, I could answer them. I would stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Vandana, for the session. I would request all the attendees to start putting in their queries or question in the Q&A section. And Vanna, I'll be taking up a few questions.
Sure.
One by one.
Sure.
So there is one question from Clifford. How much of information should about business model should be given in the pitch deck? How can we stop someone from taking our idea and doing it?
See, first of all, you need to take out the fear from your mind that your idea will be copied. You have to become a risk taker because everybody has many ideas. There are many similar companies that come up eventually and ideas do get copied, which is the truth. But you need to take out your fear from your mind, make your company, present your company in a unique manner so that it attracts the investors. Don't give too much information in depth about, which is not required by the investor. Like I had presented an example of a business model. If you had a look at it, it was not very detail oriented, but explained in short. So, focus on yourself and work towards growing your company. Take out that fear, this one will copy, that one will copy, because copying happens all the time. You really can't avoid it. You just have to deal with it and move on and make sure that you are doing things in the right manner.
Thanks. Another from Kiran. In pitch decks, should we not stress on risks and what could go wrong with a mitigation plan in the B models? So investors take a right decision or it's part of DD, they're really interested as a next step. What's your view here?
See, you are presenting your pitch deck to the investors for them to get you the investments. Now, if you are going to tell them, scare them with the risks that might happen, you're actually pushing them away. So why do you want to do that? I mean, naturally, when they do the due diligence, when they do their research, when they want to talk to you about the term sheet, they will ask you those questions. They are quite professional in that manner. They might be already aware of the market, that what are the risks, that they might have to face. So, why do you want to feed in extra information and push them away? Your whole idea in the pitch deck is to get investments, not push the investor away.
Thanks. We have one query from Sukumar, if you can help him here.
Yeah.
When you talked about the exit strategy, is it the strategy for investors to exit or promoter to exit? If you have any example here.
It is a strategy for the investors to exit. The whole idea for you to make a pitch deck and give exit options is for the investor to exit. Naturally, the investor cannot be in your company for too long. Say your company multiplies 10 or 20 times more. How can the investor stay in your company for 10, 12 years? Naturally, at some point, he has to exit. So those were the options for exit. Those were not for the promoter. If the promoter wants to exit, then then that is a different topic altogether. It's not related to investments actually.
And there is one query around your slide. You mentioned that 25% IRR. So members want to know that is 25% IRR is for total 5 years, which you mentioned, or is it per year?
Total 5 year.
Okay. And is generally is IRR generally 25%, which is post-tax or pre-tax or compounded or non-compounded?
So, tax is always included. Of course, it is not, I mean, it is not this thing, it is post-tax. I mean, tax is included in it. It's with the tax. That you would actually come to know when any investor gives you a term sheet. Before you sign it, everything is written on it. So, you will have that opportunity to show it to somebody and vet it before you sign it. So, any money that you get from the investors also has taxes attached to it. In Singapore, if you create a holding company, there are no taxes involved. But if you have a company in India, of course, you'll have to pay the taxes. So it differs from country to country.
Vishal asked, what about convertible bonds as an option?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, that you can always tell your investors if you're looking for convertibles or you're looking for equity, and explain this to them in the beginning itself, because they might not be, they might be only looking for equity investments, and you might be pitching them CCD, or there could be an investor who only does CCD and you're pitching them equity investments.
Then there are a few queries from the member about the session recording. So yes, we will be putting up the session recording on Founders Genie LinkedIn page. Harsh will be putting up link to Founders Genie LinkedIn page on chat box. You can follow the page, and we'll be putting up the recording of the session there. Moving on, from Amrit, generally, what's the percentage of equity that an investor takes during an early stage pre-seed investment?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? The voice broke.
Yeah, sorry. Amrit asks, said, generally, what's the percentage of equity that an investor takes during an early stage, pre-stage investment?
See, 10 to 15% is the standard market rate which any VC investor takes. If you're going to an HNI or an angel or a private investor, they take anything above 25 to 50%. So that is depending on investor to investor. But VCs usually take standard 10 to 15%. Some VCs do take 20, but those are really, really rare.
Priya here asks, what do you recommend if we want to put ideas in business model canvas?
Avoid doing that. Just put in your business model as your business model. If you put too many ideas, oh, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, you're also confusing the investor. You already putting presenting your entire startup via the pitch deck to the investor. Then if you put more ideas in the business model, look, I need to do this, look, I need to do that, he'll also get confused. Unless you are just making a one-page business plan and reaching out to some investor and saying, look, I've made this one-page business plan that explains it all. Could you let me know your thoughts, etc. on this?
Okay. So there is a question from Arup and Chedeep. I'll just combine them.
Yeah.
His question is that what is the ideal number of slides in a pitch deck, keeping in mind all information to be shared? And from Arup, it is it necessary to make a detailed pitch deck, as explained here, in case of angel investment requirement?
So firstly, don't make it more than 10 to 15 slides. If you make too many slides, you will not have enough time to present it in the right manner. Secondly, don't make it too texty and bulky. Just make it more numeric.
Next, there is a query from Umesh. How innovators growth platform, which SEBI is pursuing currently, will help startups? Can retail investors participate on this platform?
That we could take this question offline because it is a really detailed explanation and it has a lot of regulations and a lot of things involved. So I think I would take this
Sure,
offline.
no issues.
Yeah.
What are the attachments we should share in our investor outreach? The complete deck or just a summary? I think we have covered this.
Yeah.
So Vishal here asks that how many pitching shall we do per month? Should we focus more on customers or investors? What is your view here?
Yeah, so my view here is that we as investment bankers are here to pitch your company to investors. So give the pitching work or reaching out to investors to us, and you guys focus on your business, on bootstrapping. That is why we investment bankers are there.
So Juzar Mustan asks, I have seen many founders are uncomfortable discussing exit strategies during pitch deck meeting. Any personal tips or experience around this?
See, one should be always, open to sharing your perspective. Investors are not monsters. They are not going to do anything to you. If you tell them, look, I have made this exit strategy here. Do you think this would be suitable for you? Or, you would suggest a different strategy. It's always good to be clear from the first go itself. If the investor is interested in your company, anyhow, he will invest. And exit strategies can always be discussed. You can show like a small strategy that this is what you think that investor should get. And later on the detailed discussions, you can always have it across the tables. If they are interested, they will tell you, look, this is how I'm going to exit. And then you can always take a call as to how you want to take that forward.
So as we are approaching the end of the session, we'll just take a couple of more questions. From Sanjay, we have, how do I size my market when it comes to informal sector of textile waste and show the unit economy when everything is so unregistered being informal sector? I believe that Sanjay, there will be a whole debate around this and it will be a detailed discussion. So we'll skip it for now. We can take this query offline. What is a strategic investor? Finally, all investors look for exit with a IRR in mind. Do they really add strategic value to grow business?
All the VC investors that I have met in India, they are highly professional. They come with a lot of marketing, technology team. They do open their network for you. Now, what is a strategic investment? Strategic investment is a kind of a partnership that, they are putting in money, but they are taking 50% of stake from your company. So, that is a strategic tie-up. Then they would come in, they will have a lot of control in how you run the show. They will bring a lot of network of their own. Maybe if an investor has a network in Bloomberg and he is does a strategic tie-up with you and he's taken 50%, then naturally he would open the doors of Bloomberg for you. So that is a kind of investor, is a strategic investor that comes like a partner in your company. And if a normal VC is investing, they take 10 to 15% equity. But they also come with a marketing team, a technology team. They open their network, and some decisions, of course, you have to ask them before taking.
So I'll just take the last question, and I'm trying to combine two questions in one. One is, can you elaborate on how one should talk about competitors during the pitch, and about a go-to-market strategy, and how much is too much? I mean, how much should we keep on disclosing, and how much should we
See,
reserve?
it all depends from company to company. Each company will have different set of competitors. What are there? You have to make what is your unique proposition to the investors. Keeping that in mind, how you think that you are different from your competitors is what you need to highlight in your pitch deck. And go-to-market strategies are also different from company to company in each case. So make sure you have done a lot of research. If you can get your market research done from a professional, that's even better. And get your numbers and everything in order before you present to the investors, because in each case, of course, each company is different. So I'll have to really look into your company, what kind of company you have, what is it that you are trying to present, and then I can give you a detailed explanation on this.
Thanks a lot, Vandana, for your time, and also for all the members joining the session. Vandana is also a mentor on Founders Genie app. So, in case anyone is looking for a detailed discussion, want to connect with her as a mentor, please join Founders Genie group with the QR code given below, and the link shared on your chat window. Thanks a lot, Vandana, for your time.
Thank you also for inviting me to Founders Genie. I hope I could add value to some of the founders and investors here, and looking forward for more sessions with Founder Genie.
Thank you, Vandana.
Should I exit now?
Yes. Thanks
Okay.
a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Arup, we have also shared the link to join this Founders Genie platform on the chat window. So you can use that link and register. I was keeping the session open for another 1 minute for members to join through chat or QR code. Then we'll end the session.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for your time.